Hello, I'm Jeff Paur, senior writer with RealTime Fantasy Sports. Welcome to the RealTime Fantasy Sports Show. We are doing our fantasy baseball previews, Logan Glaser and I. So we're up to second base today. Logan should be an exciting video. There's a lot of good options out there, in my opinion.
Yeah, there definitely are. Usually when I think of second base, I think that's one of the weaker hitting spots, but
Yep.
not this year. I think there's plenty of depth there, and you can get actually a really solid player at that second base position this
I
year.
agree. When I was looking at it, trying to come up with our list here. So every week when we do this, we're going to give you a target, a fade, a sleeper, and a rookie. But I thought it was surprisingly deep, the second base spot, and there's a lot of good value late. I might wait on the position a little bit because of that. I mean, the elite guys are still good, but I might end up waiting a little bit and getting some of these guys to go later. How about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of the exact same way. A lot of players that I'm targeting in this position are going around 130 to 170 for their ADP in draft. So that's pretty late. That's going around 13th to like 15th round. So it's definitely a position I'm going to be waiting on just because I think there is so much more depth at that second base position this year.
For sure. And if you want to put this knowledge to use, you can do that on our site at rtsports.com. Click on that Money League link. You can see all the different options we have on there. Logan, our RTFS FBC is about sold out. So if you want to get in that, that's our big contest. You better do it sooner than later.
Yeah, there's only 16 spots left on that. My
Oh,
guess is
wow.
probably within the next couple of days it will be sold out. Usually it doesn't sell out until like the day before opening day. But this year there was a huge rush. So yeah, it's over 85% full. So it's gonna sell out within the next couple of days.
It might sell out before I even am able to post this video. So you better get on it sooner than later if you want to get in the RTFBC. So that's a great contest. It's $10,000 grand prize. We also have a best ball one that's a lot of fun too, and that's doing well also. So you want to probably try to sign up for that sooner than later. And then we have all different price points, all different contests. You can get into on our site. You can do roto, you can do points. We have that home run showdown, which is a lot of fun as well, where you just try to figure out the best home run hitter at each position. Only four owners in that league, so the drafts go really quick. So if you want to do something quick, different, fun, I'd suggest the home run showdown. But we have all different games. Go to rtsports.com. All right, Logan, let's talk about the second base spot now for this season. So as I mentioned, we're going to give you a target, a fade, a sleeper, and a rookie. Logan, I'll let you go first with your target at the second base position.
Yeah, target for me is going to be Ha-Seong Kim. This is his fourth season in the MLB for the Padres with that. And every single year he's been over here, he has improved in every single category. He's improved in runs, RBIs, average, stolen bases, home runs. And we're just seeing a constant improvement from him. He's being drafted around 78 for his ADP. In 2021, his first year over here, he hit 202. Every year he's improved that, as I mentioned. He went up to 251, then 260 for his average last year. But the category that really has improved for him from this past season was stolen bases. He went from 12 stolen bases up to 38 stolen bases. So that's a huge jump, and that's just another category that he's excelling in. So I'm excited for him this season and a guy I'm going to be targeting.
I think the stolen bases, the big uptick last year, is really going to improve his value come draft day. People really like that to get those stolen bases. That's a huge bump for him in the last couple of years. So definitely a player on the rise. So my guy's a little more been around the league a while, but I just think he's great value. And that's Marte of the Diamondbacks. His ADP right now is 118. He's about the ninth second baseman off the board. So he's the end of the second baseman, but man, his track record's good. He's so consistent. He plays in a good offense. He's going to hit you 20 plus home runs, get around 80 RBIs, 80 runs scored. He'll hit around 270, 280. He's not going to hurt you in any category. Get a few stolen bases as well, not a ton, but I just think he's well-rounded. You can get him later, plays in a good hitter's ballpark as well. And he's not old either. I think he's been around the league a while, but he's still relatively young. So he still has a lot of good seasons left. I just think he's great value. And that's a guy I've been getting in a lot of my early drafts. All right, the opposite end of things now, Logan. Somebody you're fading that you're not too high on this year at second base.
Yeah, my fade this year is gonna be Marcus Semien. I just think the price to pay for him is just too much for his production value. He's going near the end of the second rounds, maybe early third. He's gonna be turning 34 this season. His main categories are runs and RBIs, so those are his two categories that he really excels in. He usually puts up over 100 in each of those. All other categories besides those, he's pretty average. He'll get you 20 plus home runs, 20 steals. He'll hit 270. So nothing really jumps out in any other categories besides those runs and RBIs. And again, I just think it's too big of a price to pay. I think he'll still have a decent season, even though he's getting a little bit older in terms of player production value, but it's just too much for me to pay for him to be drafting him at the end of the second.
It's all about value, and I think it's a good point you made, just about where he's going. You don't hate him as a player, but you gotta look about his value and see
Yeah,
if he's gonna
exactly.
finish the year for you. Okay, my fade is a guy who's actually had a really good season last year, but he still wasn't a huge help to fantasy teams. That's Luis Arias with the Marlins. So he flirted with 400 for much of the year, just an amazing season. He doesn't drive in runs, though. He doesn't hit home runs. He doesn't steal bases. So he's going to help you in average a lot. And it's big these days, but the rest of his categories, he's going to be a drain on. And he doesn't, and he'll get some runs, but his run production isn't off the charts either, especially for hitting at the top of the lineup in Miami. So I just don't like his value. We just mentioned that word, but he goes around the same area as Ketel Marte, who's going to help you in 5 categories, while Arias is going to help you in 2. So I love the player. I think he's a great talent. He gets on base a ton. He's just an amazing hitter. He doesn't strike out, but I just don't think he's a great fantasy player. So that's a guy that I'm not going to get in a lot of my leagues. All right, Logan, let's talk about a sleeper now. So somebody may be going under the radar. We already mentioned how we kind of like some later options at the second base spot. So give me a guy you like as a sleeper for second base.
Yeah, sleeper breakout player this year is going to be Nolan Gorman for me. He's currently has an average ADP of 168. So he's going around the 16th round overall with that. Last year, he had 27 home runs in only 119 games. So if he's be playing this full season, which he's supposed to as that main second base position for the Cardinals, he should be getting over 30 home runs. He's a very power oriented hitter. He struggles a little bit with average and strikeouts. So that's the concern with him. Will he be able to get on base? But that home run category and RBIs should be way up there for where he's being drafted in leagues. And as I mentioned, he's probably going to be one of your last starting spots if you're taking a second baseman that late. So I like him as a breakout player this year, over 30 home runs and going late in drafts.
I'm a little surprised his ADP is not higher personally because he's young. He was kind of highly touted.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
23 years old. It's just the
yeah.
struggle to get on is
Yep.
his main concern.
A lot of people think he could hit 40 plus home runs this year, and that's a huge asset to have at the second base spot. There's not many second basemen that can flirt with 40 plus home runs. So I like the value and I like the call on him this year, Logan. So my guy's a guy. I feel like I've taken him a lot in drafts throughout his career, but I'm expecting a breakout season for him, the best to date, and that's Ryan McMahon of the Rockies. He qualifies at second and third, which is a positive as well, but his ADP is 236. He's going to hit 20 plus home runs, driving around 80 runs scored. His average hasn't been great to date. It's been around 240, 250. I think he can improve that, though, and he's going to hit in the middle of the order in Colorado. So that's just huge
Yeah,
for me.
that is
I just
huge.
I love the value. I just think he's tremendous value. I'm getting him on a ton of my teams right now, and I'm going to keep buying the Ryan McMahon breakout year. I think he could have his best season to date, maybe hit 30 home runs, go more around 100 RBIs, and I'm looking for big things from him this year. All right, Logan, let's talk about a rookie. Last week we did first base, and there wasn't a lot of great options there. I think there's a couple here at second. Who's a guy you like as a rookie?
Yeah, for a rookie this year, I'm going to go with Zack Goff. He did appear in 69 games last season. I'm still qualifying him as a rookie with that for not a full season with that. But I was almost taking him as my target player, my breakout, and just decided with him my rookie. That's how high I am on him. He has an ADP of 143, so he's going later in drafts. Last year, he had a 267 average in the 69 games he played. He had 14 home runs, 14 stolen bases, batting second for the Oakland A's with that. So if you translate that from the 69 games to say he played 140, you're looking at a guy that's going to hit around 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases, decent average, and going late in drafts. So it's a guy that I'm really high on. He's solid across all the categories. So I'm excited about that.
I like him too.
I'm going to be looking at.
Yeah, I like him a lot too. I've got him on some of my teams. I think he's an exciting young player. Just wish he wasn't in Oakland. That's the only downfall. But the good news is he could be in a good spot in that lineup because he's in Oakland. So I think he could have a good year as well. So my rookie second baseman is Colt Keith of the Detroit Tigers. So last year in the minors, he played in a couple different spots. He hit 306 with 27 home runs, 38 doubles. He signed a 6-year, $28 million guaranteed contract in the offseason as an extension, and he hasn't even been in the majors yet. So they obviously love his potential. I think when you sign a contract like that, you're going to give him every opportunity to win the second base job. He's going to be great for power, home runs, power average combinations. I think can be tremendous. I don't think he's going to steal bases at all, so that's a little bit of a drain. But man, he could really pile up the home runs and hit for a good average at the second base spot. With kind of like Nolan Gorman would be a plus. He could be a Nolan Gorman type player, but with a better average. And I think he has a good shot to win that second base job in Detroit. So look for Colt Keith this year to make a splash in Detroit. All right, Logan, that's the second base preview. Thanks so much for joining me as always. The next preview we're going to hit is the shortstop spot. So that's a good position as well. There's a lot of good talent there also as I started doing my homework on that. But the second base spot should be one that you can find some good value a little bit later in drafts. Logan and I believe that. And you can put that used here at rtsports.com. Get in some of our fantasy baseball leagues today. All sorts of different options out there for you. Again, Logan, thanks so much for coming on and joining me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jeff.
This has been Jeff Paur with RealTime Fantasy Sports. Have a great day.